Kozlowski. I'm the chairperson of the Historic District and Historical Commission. We're calling our meeting to order for Tuesday, November 20th, 2018 at 6 p.m. We are holding the meeting at 732 Main Street in the Griffin Room at Town Hall in Harwich. As required by law, the town is notifying you that we may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair at this time. Hearing none, I'd like to just start with a roll call.
Julia Eldridge.
Jean Steiner.
Bob Doan.
Dale Carroll.
Bob Bradley.
Brendan Lowney.
All right, we have a bit of a long agenda for us. We'll start with, by opening the public hearing, which is HH 2018-21. It's a notice of intent which has been received for 825 Route 28, map 24, parcel W4-0 in the CH-1 zone, Macris ID number HRW.97. The application proposes partial demolition of the front porch, replacing a railing with 3 glass slider doors to enclose the porch. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, Chapter 131, Historic Preservation, Article 2. Sarah Chase is the owner, Sean Smith is the applicant.
Good evening.
Good evening. If you could just give us some details on your plan to start out.
Yeah, are you looking at any photos? Do you have photos of
We
the
do
front?
have
Yes, we do.
photos.
Yeah,
Yeah, these are.
that's correct. So that's the porch, and at this time, it's an open porch. But when we did the foundation last winter, the new foundation actually runs under the perimeter of that porch. So Sarah wants to close it in, because she's gonna make it a, a three-season situation there. We have some French wood sliders. Do you have the diagram that shows the trim sections in between
I have
the corner boards?
I have a picture.
We don't have any detail of the.
Okay. So
Just to clarify, I'll answer the questions until we start asking questions, okay? Just so that we can be heard on camera. So,
let me give you a
this
few
one that
of
we have.
these. You might have to share a little bit, but that shows the existing trim on each side of the porch and the 3 doors and the trim in between. Same thing here.
Thanks.
The existing corner boards of the porch, and then the new 3 sliders with the trim in between.
Okay.
And that's the existing corner board of each side of the open porch, and then that's the 3 sliders with the trim in between.
Okay.
So it's just enclosing that open space and removing the railing. And they're gonna be white to match the surrounding trim. Do you have a photo of the finished brickwork you asked us to do
We
at the last meeting?
We do not.
I saw it, I drove by.
You saw it, because I do have you
Yeah.
wanna see this?
That'd be great
Yeah.
if we could pass that around.
And those are real brick, it's a real brick veneer.
Great.
Looks good, too. Yeah, they're actually the brick that came from the house, too, so should look pretty
Fantastic.
close.
Really looks nice.
It does. Thanks
Come
for
a long
bringing that.
way. That looks really good.
Do you have any pictures of the sliders that you're going to use?
I do. I brought the whole Anderson book. I don't think you need it. So this is what, they're French wood gliders, 6068. And these are the 2 units. She wants to use a right hand and a left hand. It's very nondescript. Now, what she actually would like to do, this is the grill pattern that is an option for that, which does match the one door you can see on the porch. But she was hoping, because the porch is so open right now as it looks, that maybe she could not do grills in the front so that it would retain some of the similar look of the open porch.
And part of the reason for that was the old doors won't line up. So if you try to put the new one by the old one, it's gonna look a little funky, it'll dip down. So I thought, you know, to keep it clear and open, and you could see the clapboard and the, you know, around the windows,
The
can't
trim
even
you're talking
remember
about?
the name, I'm having a blank, the shutters. You could
Oh,
still see
oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
windows and,
So you're
you know.
keeping the windows and the,
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah,
all gonna stay?
definitely. I want to
Okay.
keep that look and keep that porch area.
All right, great. So are there any questions from members of the board? Anybody want to start? Brendan?
So just a full view glass, not any simulated divided light scenario.
Yeah, she would prefer that because of the open look right now. She's just trying to maintain that rather than make it all cluttered with grills in the front of the house.
And they're just standard A-series sliders, Andersons? Or
Yeah, they're the 400 series, I
400s?
believe, yeah, but, I
Are
think
they gonna
they
have
do have an
screens?
A-series. What's that?
They're gonna have screens on them?
Were you gonna put screens in there?
I think they come with screens.
They do.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
you're gonna use them then.
Probably, to get some air, because right now, when you have the windows open, it gets air through the house, and it's kind of nice.
The other thing I would like to ask is, you're taking the rails down, right?
I have to, because they're in the way.
So somebody could open the door,
Yes.
and take a dive, or what?
She was
There's
intending
stairs.
to do stairs in
There's
front, yeah.
stairs.
The whole length of it?
My carpenter was gonna do it in the
So,
middle.
I'm
Yeah.
just sort of interested how I mean, I'm not,
Oh,
it-
yeah, no, I know. My carpenter, did you give him the picture with the stairs?
The new stairs, I didn't know. I don't have one, actually, I don't think.
Well, no, the one, it should be in there, I think I saw.
An original?
No, it's just a drawing. I thought I saw it right here, this one. Did they get a copy of this?
Oh, that's the one I just handed them, yeah. Yeah.
there is a little bit of a safety factor there. You might consider that if you open
Yeah,
the door, whether there's a screen or not.
okay, that's a good
They'd all be
idea.
open, and somebody.
Yeah, you're right, I hadn't thought about that.
So all 3 units would be operable.
The way that it's listed on that drawing right there, you can see there's a couple of lefts and a right, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we put that together. I actually hadn't talked to Sarah about the stairs, but by code, you either have to have stairs in front of the operating doors,
Yes.
or you have to have some sort of rail that you can fix to the outside, so that you can't just walk out of an open door.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to address that with the building department for sure, but I don't even know what type of stairs she was intending to do. One of those photos does show the original stairs on there,
Yeah,
and we haven't changed the grade, so the stairs are gonna look similar to that.
right, and the carpenter had said he was gonna put railings on either side of the stairs, and that the doors would have screens so that we could get air through that area, because otherwise it might get really hot in the summer.
Is there just a lawn in front of this? I can't remember.
Yes, lawn, yeah.
I don't know, it might be kind of spectacular to have a full-length.
He had talked about
That
that.
you could sit on and.
Yeah,
and,
and that's fine, if that's, what you guys think I should do. It's something he had mentioned, but we weren't really sure, because one of the doors you're probably not gonna, go out of, because there's things that
Happen
are
to
gonna
know
be
a
in the way.
house in town here that has maybe 30 feet of steps.
Yeah.
And it's utilized, it's odd to see, it's not odd, it's actually interesting to see people who utilize it. And they sit on it.
Okay.
They begin to form groups and whatever when they have a party.
Is that on 28?
No, it's.
See, because that's the, maybe
right
the
here in town.
difference.
I don't want to mention the building.
No, that's okay, I just was thinking, right on 28, it's so noisy, and so that's another reason to get those doors in, because, I never use that porch. You can't really sit out there, because you've got constant traffic whizzing by.
Well,
Depends on what you like to look at.
Yeah,
I live on the main street. And,
Yeah.
And we're actually going to probably add something so that we can look at the traffic. But
yeah. Is that
sort of
Maine?
bored at looking at each other, so now.
Oh, really? Yeah, you want to see the cars going by, you can come to my house, sit on the steps if you want.
Good martinis?
Okay, I'll get the recipe for that.
Gail, any questions?
No, just with the rails down and the glass, you'd have a completely clear look at the facade of the house. Be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My only question is, if you're putting in stairs, is there anything else, just thinking about it, is there anything else that would be demoed technically that we would want you to amend kind of this and address it now?
No, it is true that the original stairs were just in that 3-foot opening.
Yep.
So I think Sarah was trying to keep them as small as possible was the idea.
Okay.
But the doors, the length of the operating units is going to make it probably have to be about 18 feet if it's a continuous step.
Okay, and just the installation of new stairs isn't going to require demolition of anything that hasn't been listed in the application at this point?
No.
I just want to clarify that for the record.
Yep.
No questions.
I don't really have a question, but I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
We have a porch with all one wall of glass going out to a deck, and we use the Anderson 400 series sliders. And what we wound up doing was putting 2 sets of panels together so they open in the middle, which is great if you're trying to get a table in and out or anything like
Yeah,
that. It
he had-
works really well, but they are great doors, and you can see through them very nicely.
You know, he had talked about that, but because he thought the panels would be too small and it would make it too busy, because he said they were smaller panels. And I know one of the doors you're not going to be able to get out because there's going to be some stairs going downstairs in that area. So it's going to be maybe a little bit of area to put some plants in front of the door and,
Yeah.
you know.
It'll be very nice. The other thing that we found, this doesn't really apply to this, but we found that the screens that go with that, you
Yeah.
can get the ones that are like very clear to see through. I
really?
forget what they call them. They have a name for them. They're
Probably not cat screen.
no, I mean, you can't tell that there's a screen on there when you look out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds really good. I do have a couple cats, and they tend to shred whatever I do get for screens, but maybe those are stronger.
You can ask them.
Yeah, it's worth an ask. Thanks
Yeah.
for that suggestion.
It'll look nice.
Thank you.
Julie, any
Nothing,
questions?
no, it looks great.
Okay.
It will look great.
So we are in a public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to comment? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing if there's no further discussion from the board.
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
So Bob Doan has moved, Jean Steiner has seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, it is unanimous. I have to say, it's 7-0. That's a milestone for us since I've been on this board.
Good start.
It's historic.
It is, it's a full board. So that being said, as I mentioned, this is a notice of intent for demolition, so a yes vote, the chair will entertain a motion to either approve the demolition or to impose the 24-month demolition, the 12-month demolition delay. So that being said, chair would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the application for the partial demolition at 825 Route 28, HH 2018-21.
So Jean Steiner has moved. Is there a second to approve the application?
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded to approve the application for partial demolition of 825 Route 28 in Harwich, Porch. All those any discussion first? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. So we will let the building department know you folks are all set to move forward, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for coming back.
And thanks for volunteering and serving on the committee, because I'm sure it's a lot of time.
Do you want these back?
Sean, could we actually just get copies of those to include in the,
Sure.
next time you come up to the building department,
do
just ask
that.
them to make you copies?
Yep.
Thank you very
No
much.
problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
So the second matter on our agenda this evening is a public hearing for HH 2018-23. It's a notice of intent that has been received for 653 Main Street, map 40, parcel F3-0, in the R-M zone, Macris ID HRW.11. The application proposes a demolition of the attached garage and shed to be replaced with with attached living space. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, Chapter 131, Historic Preservation, Article 2, Paul Doan as owner applicant. If you could please come forward and give us some details. Please introduce yourselves for the record.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, I'm Paul Doan, 653 Main Street, and my wife Helen.
I can speak to Helen. Don't.
Welcome.
We're here in request of your support for a proposal to tear down an existing garage structure and replace it with a downstairs ground floor bedroom, bathroom suite. The home is on 653 Main Street in Harwich Center. We bought the home actually in 1983 and moved in 1984 after restoring it. I have some pictures actually which I can pass around, but which shows the original house dated, this photo is dated about 1935. Before they did make some changes, the front door was moved to the east side of the house, and 2 dormers were added upstairs. This was the house as we purchased it, and the condition that it was in. And then there's some changes there as to what we did internally and externally for your review. We have raised our family there, and we hope to remain there through our declining years. And it's for that reason that we're hoping to establish a downstairs or ground floor bedroom, which we currently do not have. This will require the demolition of and removal of the existing garage area. We recently built a new barn on our property, which will also serve sort of as a garage and a shed area. But the new garage or the new barn, in essence, will take the place of the building we're hoping to demolish. If you see not to give us approval, then we'd have numerous places for extra cars if anybody has them. I undertook to research the vintage of our home, and today I'm pleased to say that we have a plaque supplied by the Historical Society which dates the house to around 1875, the main property. It was owned by Freeman Smith, originally built by him, and he lies up here in the Harwich Center First Congregational Church Cemetery. The portion we're seeking to replace, however, is the back end. It's at the far removal from as far from the street as you can get in terms of our building. And it's anything but historic. It was probably built around 1945 or so, which actually makes me more historic than the building we're trying to replace here, the portion of the building. The proposal that we have employs no change in the footprint. It'll remain approximately 28 feet by 20 feet. It'll bring our roof line on that new building, if it's approved, to be more in keeping with the existing Greek Revival style of architecture of the main house. The roof will now have an 11/12 pitch for that portion, as opposed to the 7/12, which is currently the existing pitch. And we're also incorporating a bay window on the east side of the property that will be comparable to the bay window that's in the historic portion of the front part of the home. The rear shed, which we added in the 1990s, will be converted to a master bath, and we hope to include an outside shower or rinsing station, as I guess they're now called. We'd plan on the construction to begin in the spring, hopefully mid-March period, and hopefully be completed by the fall of 2019. And we would respectfully request your support for our project.
Before we move further, I just want to read into the record a letter that we received. From a neighbor that I have. Thank you. To the Harwich Historical Committee. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Paul G. Erickson, and I live at 647 Main Street. I'm writing this letter to inform the Historical Committee that I wholeheartedly support the improvements that Helen and Paul Doan are doing to their property. They have always done projects that are tasteful to the neighborhood and myself as an abutter. Paul Doan showed me the plans for the project, and I think they look great. It is a pleasure to have neighbors that ask for my input regarding their plans. The next bit does not have anything to do with the project. I'm a Democrat and the Doans are Republicans, and we have lived as neighbors many years and get along very well. Let this be an example of partisanship. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Paul G. Erickson. So
May I make a
some pictures.
correction? I'm not a Republican.
I don't think she even voted for me when I was in office.
So that has been read into the record. We do also have a letter from Zebrat and McCarthy Designs LLP, who I assume is doing the work for you, the design work.
Yes.
It is addressed to the Harwich Historical Commission. It says, "Dear Harwich Historic Commission, after careful review of the existing structure with our engineer and contractor, it was determined it was not feasible to salvage the existing garage structure for proposed bedroom. The current foundation has deteriorated to such a level that it must be replaced. Designs were evaluated to hold existing structure in place and replace the foundation. It was determined that in order to bring the existing structure to meet Mass State Building Code, most of the structure would be destroyed in the process. We are therefore proposing to totally replace the existing structure with similar structure consistent with design of an existing Greek Revival style. Thank you for your consideration. Mark R. Zebrat, Zebrat and McCarthy Designs."
If I might add something, Madam Chairman, that our original plan was to try to preserve two walls of the existing garage, with the hopes mainly of protecting the west wall that had a lot of climbing hydrangea and lattice, and also places at risk, the brick patio we have there, if we were to tear that down. But after much consideration and redrafts and so forth, reviews, input from many people, it was determined that it was foolish to try to continue the old structure and build around that. So as a result, our preference is to tear it down completely.
Understood. Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the board? Bob Doan, nothing?
Nope.
Jean?
No, I think if your new barn is any indication of what this is going to look like, I think it'll look very nice.
Thank you. Julie?
Nothing, no, I think it'll be.
Brendan? Mr. Bradley?
No?
Jean? Gail?
Jean.
Oops, sorry.
I should have something,
I know.
but I'll just correct my name and
Thank
go
you.
on. No, nothing.
All right, no questions. We are in a public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to comment? Please, stand up and introduce yourself at the podium, please.
Yes, my name is Peter Giorgio, and Connie Giorgio and I live across the street from the Doans at 658 Main Street, and we're wholly in support of their project. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Hearing no other comments, seeing no other comments, the chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
So Gail has made a motion to close the public hearing. Bob Joan has seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, the motion is carries unanimously. Then the chair would entertain a motion on the notice of demolition, notice of intent to demolish. Again, we are here to either approve or a denial would impose a 12-month demolition delay under our town bylaw. So the chair would entertain a motion from a member of the board.
Who's gonna do it? I'll make the motion to approve the application as submitted.
Okay,
Bless you.
you okay? So Julie Eldridge has made a motion to approve the application as submitted to demolish the garage
At 653 Main Street.
at 653 Main Street, map 40, parcel F-3. Is there a second?
I'll second. Oops.
All right, so Julie's made a motion. Jean? A second in the motion. All those in favor of approving the application for the demolition,
Aye.
please say aye.
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 Anyone in opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll let the building department know you're all set.
Okay, thank you.
Piece of cake.
Okay. Are you okay there? Would you like a quick recess so you can go get some water or something?
I think I'm over it.
Okay, our last public hearing for the evening I'd like to open is HH 2018-24. It is a certificate of appropriateness which has been received for 724 Main Street, map 41, parcel B8-1 in the C-V zone. The application is pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40C, Section 6, in the Code of the Town of Harwich, Chapter 131, Historic Preservation, Article 1, and proposes the addition of a rooftop cable access box, which is at the Verizon property located next door. So, please state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Brian Ross. I work for Structure Consulting Group, address 49 Brattle Street, Arlington, Mass. I'm here on behalf of Verizon Wireless and for the installation of the GPS units on the roof of the building.
Okay, so could you just give us some quick details on the structures and the demolition that's going to happen and what's going to go on the roof there?
So the portion of the project for Verizon Wireless is that they are going to be utilizing space inside of the central office to house base station equipment for small cell nodes. And these GPS units on the roof triangulate the GPS and allow the satellites and other cell towers in the area to know where this site is and where people are making calls from and things of that nature.
Okay.
What they are proposing to do, I have some pictures that we recently did at another Verizon central office that you can take a look at.
Thank you.
And here's the actual GPS unit, and this is just a base mount that sits on the pole, as in the picture, if anyone wants to take a look at it.
Thank you very much.
It's gonna be on the roof, yeah.
Now, I have another larger set of plans that I just had a question on. The first floor plan shows fences and a gate. Now, that's not on the fence and the gate isn't on a roof, correct?
No,
That's
that
on
is
the first.
That's the interior portion that Verizon
Okay,
Wireless.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
and that-
yep.
So then on the outside, the mounting detail is on page 2 on the roof plan.
Correct,
And
yep.
it's,
So is it just that small gray box?
Yes.
and those 2 poles with
Mhm.
the
Yep.
mounts.
I think you have it, they were provided. They were there. Oh, and then it was in-
Thank you for that.
It was there when you sat down, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I grabbed.
So it looks like those are just gonna sit up a foot and a half, 2 feet
Correct.
on the
Yep.
top of the roof.
I'd like to make one note that isn't on the plans, is that these antenna, the GPS antenna need to be grounded. So they're not in the plans, but a 1-inch conduit will be needed to run next to the, I would call it the white molding that's on the side of next to the brick facade, where kinda, it goes from the roof, and then when it gets to the rubber flat roof, there's kind of a little jog, and we propose on putting a 1-inch conduit in that jog out so that we can ground the antenna into the ground.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but I didn't understand that.
So from the GPS units, do you have the map,
I do, here.
so, right
Are you talking about
on
the-
page 2,
Yeah,
there will be
Of the app-
a
open with the application.
conduit running in that small corner directly into the asphalt where the grounding rod will be placed.
Yeah, that- so you have
Right,
that.
right in that
Yeah.
small corner,
Yeah.
right there, yep,
There's nothing else.
right there, right in that corner.
Right here. So he's saying,
so that goes underneath the eave and shows on the facade of the building?
Yes, but it will be on the back side, so the front, it will be on the back side of the,
John.
Because this protrudes this way.
correct, yep.
This is probably,
This is the front of the building.
this is east.
Will the conduit be painted?
This is
It will
the
be
side,
white.
this is side over here,
Yeah.
I think we're looking at.
Well, It'll have it right next to
This
the
is the
building
back,
there on
I
that
think so.
corner.
Right.
Oh, Main Street, no, that's the front. So it's gonna
Front
be
of-
there.
just for clarification for my purposes.
Yep.
Where's the front of the building on Main
Front
Street?
of the building
Is here?
Here, so the conduit will run in that little
Okay,
jog.
thanks.
Okay.
Okay, and I believe that may be what this email is about, but I just wanted to read this,
Right there. Gonna be
these emails into the record before we get started any further.
see it.
There was an email back to Amy Banford, who was our,
Very low.
Bob, just for 1 second. There was an email that went to Amy Banford, who is
Trying to put something
our assistant in the building department, and it said that they didn't show a 1-inch PVC pipe running up the side of the building to the antenna roof box you will be installing. We do this all the time and never gave it a thought, but in this case, thought it should be talked about. Is that for the conduit?
That is, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that and make sure that that email was the same thing we were talking about, and that was just from Thursday, November 1st. Are there any other questions from members of the board at this time? Jean?
No, it's just, it's very small, right? I
Yep,
mean, that's not.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's about what we'll see if we see anything.
yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look like you would see it from the front
No, I don't
anyways.
think you
yeah,
I
would.
think you'd have to be on the side on the
Yeah,
Albert
at
House.
an angle
and
to look,
see,
yeah.
One of the front views showed like you'd see it coming up, but,
Actually,
I don't know if that's a
Side-
front or a
see,
side
that's a
view.
side
Yeah,
view.
see,
That'd be from Albert House.
that's the side.
So, just pointing out that
Right.
technically this driveway is somewhat public because it's a public space. So it is part of what we look at, but it is just a small,
Right,
Mhm.
yeah, it won't be.
coming up on the side. Julie, questions? Any others?
I guess just, how big is the box? That's up
It
there.
will be 30 by 30.
Inches?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it looks pretty small on the map. I'm just
Right.
like, I'm fine.
Bob, Joan, any questions?
Nope.
Brendan, any questions?
No.
Mr. Bradley, any questions?
No, no, everything's fine.
Gail?
I'm good.
Okay, hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that has any questions? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I so move.
Jean has moved to close the public hearing.
Exciting meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Gail has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. So in this instance, we are here on a certificate of appropriateness the chair would entertain a motion to either approve or to deny the application to install this antenna and box on the roof of the building at 724 Main Street.
I move to approve the installation of the rooftop cable access box at 724 Main Street in Harwich Center, item number HH 2018-24.
So Mr. Doan has made a motion to approve the application. Is there a second?
Sure.
Mr. Bradley got the second that time. So motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much for coming in
Yeah,
tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving into the public meeting portion of our meeting tonight. Mrs. Urbano is here to give us an update on Captain's Row. Please step up and identify yourself for the record, and we're happy to hear your update.
Sally Urbano from Harwich. Madam Chair, Commission members, good evening. First I want to, half an hour, you got through 3 public hearings. I know.
We like that.
That was amazing. I'm back before you because last time I was here, you all suggested that we go and speak with Charlene, which turned out to be a great reference. So Miranda Dupuy and I met with Charlene, and Charlene gave us a lot of information, plus she was enthusiastic, so that was really nice to come up with. I'll give you the quick 2 main things. Primarily, we talked about zoning, but primarily she thought we could draft a overlay zoning for the Captain's Row area. And she said we could kind of work with her and design it in any way that the group saw fit. And basically, what we just want to do is be able to leverage those historic assets so that we can proceed with economic development and uplift the area while keeping it sort of authentic. And during that conversation, we talked about the National Trust Main Street program. And she was a little bit interested in that, and it sounds like it really would suit the kinds of things that we're trying to do. And she asked me to reach out to Sarah Korjoff to see if she knew about that. So I did reach out to Sarah. We've had a longer conversation about what's going on in Captain's Row and how we're kind of reaching critical mass. And so Sarah has invited, I haven't followed up because I just got this. She said she could come and talk with us, whoever wants to be included in that meeting with Charlene, and we can structure it however we want. I'm hoping maybe you guys, somehow we could work that out so that some of you or all of you, however, your pleasure, I will set up the meeting. She only meets, though, on 3 days out of the week. And I think it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So.
Is she available for night meetings or just during the day? Do we know?
I'm sorry?
Is she available for a night meeting if we?
It's all open. I'm just beginning. I will ask her.
Okay.
I would ask her.
Because we could certainly invite her to one of our meetings and post it. And I know I'd be happy to come on another night if she doesn't normally come out on a Wednesday, if that was possible. So
Okay.
feel free to let Charlene know what the, if there's any timing,
Okay.
or send me an email, and we'll
Great.
try and coordinate that
Great.
with you, all right?
Right, perfect. Let's see what else. We took a quick mention of some of the properties that are either becoming a public nuisance or being vandalized or look like they're a health concern. And she said certainly anybody can call the building department or the health department. The town has the right apparently to contact the owners and say, look, button it up. And that's all they would have to do, but just to kind of keep it from disintegrating further. Those were the two main things, I think, from that meeting.
Great.
Let's see. Then just a couple of updates. With the Captain Baker House, which is 52 Route 28 that you heard for the demolition delay, we did follow up with Bill Kroll, trying to make contact and meet with the owner and the possible buyer, but we were refused, flat out refused. And they did say, however, that they would be happy to give that building to us if we wanted to move it. But it's interesting because in Bill's wording, it was the demolition delay, and he references the owner and possible buyer. So I think it sort of brings up what we've talked about before. Does this demolition delay stop, or is it transferred if there is a buyer? I don't think we know the answer to that, but I'm just working my way through that one.
I don't want to get into details on a specific case because it's not
Right.
agended, so.
Right. It's just my own personal thought about it.
Understood.
And then the last one is we do have a chance to work with the town regarding the West Harwich Schoolhouse. It's just at its tentative beginnings, and we've got a long way to go. We did meet with Chris Clark. The town, however, wants to, in addition to the West Harwich Schoolhouse, put on that property a sewage pumping station, 2 outside bathrooms, a basketball court, and a playground. It's a lot of multi-use for that property, and my concern there would be, as becoming a National Registered District, the views are very important, so we're going to have to look out for that. But we are really just in the beginning, so.
All right.
And then I have, I'll give you a printout. It's just a really brief outlay of what the Main Street program is all about.
That'd be great.
Anything else? Anything from you guys?
Sure.
Yeah, you mentioned the overlay district. Is that in lieu of doing a historic district, do you
Yeah,
think? Or
yes.
would that be the first step, or?
That would, we'll do both, but well, it turns out that probably the overlay would be the quickest.
Right.
Because we're still working on the National Register.
Any other questions?
I just want to mention something. I had the opportunity in a prior life to work with the National Trust a little bit in the town that I was living in New York.
Nice.
They were very, very helpful in looking at our downtown. They sent somebody out. They have, at least at that time, they had regional representatives. But if you have an opportunity to go up to Bath, Maine, that's won the award twice that I know of.
Nice.
And it's a very lively town, but it's not anything, it's not pristine, but it's a really
Right.
honest to goodness town. But
That's
they've
right.
just taken very good care of, like, making sure the sidewalks are well done, the lighting is cohesive.
It's an overall plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, I also sent a letter to Chris Clark because we need, and one of the things I asked him is, could you please purchase this? It's $350 a year to become part of the program. Gives you lots and lots of resources. And I would think the planning department, Charlene said she might be interested in it. Certainly, I would think the planning department could use it, in lots of ways. And then the other thing is, I asked that the West Harwich Schoolhouse be put on the capital outlay as a placeholder, because what we learned in the past is if it's not on there, you're going to go down at town meeting. So we'll see how he responds to that. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sally.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm not going to stop talking. I
for dinner, I have to
Go prep vegetables tonight.
I can't believe it's this week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sally.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, we have some draft new applications. I guess I'd just like for us to take a look at them. You don't have to do it right now at this meeting, but if you can take a look at them, see if you have any suggestions for changes. The building department is trying to streamline our applications. So if there's something that's been removed that you think needs to get added back in, if there's something you think additionally that you'd like to see on the information for for the two applications, perhaps mark it up and then we can circulate them as part of a future meeting.
Question,
Absolutely.
is this the existing one, or has this been modified?
These have been modified. The existing ones are the ones that you see, that you have in your packet tonight.
Okay.
So with the certificate of appropriateness from Verizon, that is the existing application, and then notices of intent are the existing applications. So if there's something, like I said, if in comparison there's something else you'd like to see or something less, if there's something that you the board doesn't think we want included, I think a future meeting we can put some time in and just have a quick discussion. They've been talking about changing them, and Elaine has put some effort into making those changes and is anxiously anticipating our review. Any questions about the applications before we move on? All right, then the next matter is the 2019 meeting schedule. I just want to call it to everyone's attention so that you can see, this is what they typically do, we typically do every year. We have a meeting scheduled for the first Wednesday of every month. It used to be the working sessions, and we haven't been doing those. We've kind of been reserving those for these special dates when we needed to fill in. But we put them on the calendar anyway, just in case. And these filing deadlines are so that you can so that you can see what they work with on filing deadlines for people coming in. All that being said, if are there any dates on here that jump out at anybody as being a problem? I would guess the November 20th, 2019 may again be Thanksgiving week. So we may want to consider moving that instead.
I might be away in October.
I'm sorry?
I might be away in October for that meeting, but
Nope, that's.
everything else looks fine.
We understand those things, right? Would all love to be at every meeting, but it just doesn't happen.
I don't like to miss them, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think the November one, nope, it's not, because the Thanksgiving is the fourth Thursday, right?
Yes.
So
When's
It won't.
Thanksgiving next year?
it's the 28th.
All right.
So it'll be the week, yeah.
So we'll be okay.
So we'll be good next year. Perfect.
Okay.
Consensus that these dates look okay
I-
then with everyone?
Fine to me.
Looks good, yeah.
All right, great. We'll let them know. The next item, we deferred on reviewing the minutes at one of our last meetings because we went so long. So we have minutes from 9/21/16 and 11/16/2016 that were missing from the records, so we've got those added in here. We have minutes from 8/15, 8/28, 9/19, 10/26, and 11/7. Some of them were in our old packets, I believe. I don't know that we still have them in our packets. I didn't bring my old packet either. So as a consensus, would like to have them in front of us. See what I have.
We're looking at October 26th first.
I have the November 16th from 2016. My
I have it September
my
21st.
husband
This one?
threw a cup in the back seat.
That's what I'm on, yes.
So which one are you
I think
looking
we're
at?
starting
So let's look at, let's first deal with the November 16th and November 20, September 16th, September 21st, 2016, November 16th, 2016 drafts.
Don't have those.
I don't have those
So
either.
I will circulate them. I have them in front of me. I think they were in an earlier packet.
Well, some were in the
It's
previous one.
Yeah.
It's
I
tea
didn't bring
sticks.
those with me. I don't think I have.
We
lovely.
had, there was some.
I just took
It's a lovely
everything out
detail.
to make this close.
So the, Jen Clark has been trying to, Jen Clark is the employee in the building department that does our meeting minutes, and she was trying to fill in the gaps of some old minutes that had been missing from back in 2016, so.
Oh, yeah. That was, I think, when we had, it all had to be transcribed, right? We didn't have anyone doing it. We had a whole.
We went through people for a while there. We had some help back and forth.
I have like one from 2016. I wasn't here, so I can't comment on them, so.
If you want to look at.
Do you want, does anyone want those? From the 2016
We're
one?
good. They've got mine.
Okay.
I guess that's fine.
Do you have it?
What? No, the answer is no.
Read it.
I've got this.
Is that
It's
good?
got here. Oh, October 26th.
No, we're on.
This is 2016.
No, go ahead.
That's why I'm handing that to you. It's September. And this is November of 2016.
There are 5 of us that I believe were on the board at the time.
I'll read one, you read the other.
Do I have to?
Yes. Pretend. And we put this in.
You want to pass me that? Pass this one down, too.
Anyone need those 2016 minutes?
If you've got a, what did I just look at?
The 16s.
Oh, that was the
The
16.
two 16s.
Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the 2016 minutes? So the chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of Wednesday, September 21st, 2016, and Wednesday, November 16th, 2016, and place them on file. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the meetings of the said dates.
Mr. Doan has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
What was the motion?
To
Minutes.
approve the minutes from September 21st, 2016 and November 16th, 2016, and place them on file. So the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none. All right, so then we've got some minutes from this year. We have August 15th, August 28th. I don't seem to have the August minutes.
I don't. But I'm not voting, so.
Do you have the August minutes?
I do.
Okay.
There's the
Because
15th
we only have the last two.
and the 28th.
I've looked at these already. Nothing struck me as this being strange. I've
Sorry.
seen- No, I've seen these.
They're well worn.
Is that present?
Very historic.
They're in, yeah, they're antique. I seem to be the only one who has them.
You actually don't need to have been present in order to approve the
know.
minutes.
But I don't need to
Extra
read
one
them
there?
if I
No,
weren't
I
there.
understand.
May I read that one, Bob?
Absolutely.
That was
Here you go.
one. Now we can swap. Coffee sounds like a good idea right now.
So our additional minutes are August 15th, August 28th, September 19th,
September 19th, I can't.
October 26th, and November 7th.
I have October.
I do have October 26th and November 7th if
Those were
somebody
the
needs
packet,
them.
Kristen.
Oh, that was a good cup of coffee.
Here. It was huge. He thought nothing was in it and he just tossed it. I was like, what?
Come into the office, we can make you copies. At least you can get rid of my
Oh,
disappearing
here's
ones.
the pen.
Okay.
That one there. That was there.
That's the August going round. There's something.
So has everybody had an opportunity to look at the August 15th and August 28th minutes?
Finishing the 28th one.
You want the August? Bob needs to take a look at the August.
I'm looking at August 15th.
Need a bigger bag to carry everything.
You read this one, right, Bob?
Yes.
Thank you.
You never know.
So there you go.
And
I think Bob wanted to take a look.
and
Wasn't bad anyway.
Okay.
Nice.
and then, of course, all the drafts. Here's the good thing.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I've forgotten, if you're absent from a meeting, do you vote on these?
You still can vote,
Still
yes.
vote, as long as you review them.
You're just accepting that the minutes are accurate. just let me know when you're ready. Okay, so, we can start. The chair would entertain a motion to accept and place on file the minutes of August 15th and August 28th, 2018.
I so move.
So Jean's made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
Okay, Bob.
Jean and Bob Doan has seconded. All those in favor? Any in opposition? Hearing none is unanimous. So we have 3 additional minutes. We have September 19th, October 26th, and November 7th. I have October 26th. It's in front of me somewhere. October 26th and November 7th I have, if anybody needs copies.
Maybe September?
I think those were in the packet.
September, I don't have a copy.
Yeah, none of us have that.
Okay.
I saved,
You were good.
hung it up to dry.
So you were having a problem with the joinery at the bottom?
My only question was on the 19th. I thought we were in the small hearing room.
On the door?
No, that was,
That was
that was
when you-
August,
when
because
you
I
were
just.
putting
come
That
in
was the
with-
August
yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
Didn't have-
I came, but I didn't.
You didn't have any problem
wasn't
with
a full
the
member.
green underneath the book.
No weather stripping yet. Saturday.
I read them when you did them.
I'm just gonna go with it, yeah.
The problem with nothing blocking the,
Take like a quarter inch off. Spray gasket in. The rubber gasket that slides in. It's not a bad idea. It's perfect.
I gotta do something because there's been a little bit of a lot. Probably really affecting the sill underneath. I haven't gone down there, I don't know.
Good. Finish drawing.
Any questions or comments about these existing minutes, the last 3?
I do on the 26th.
What, on the 26th?
Second page.
Yep.
Kind of the 3rd paragraph. I'm talking about the foot traffic between the stores. Right in the middle, it says, the walk path created between the 2 stores, which might, it says run, but it should be ruin.
Ruin.
The embankment.
Spelling. Okay.
That was a great point too, Paul. I would never have thought of that.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, I wouldn't
Exactly
either
what
when I was
happened.
thinking, when we were
Yeah.
talking about it.
yeah, no, it's good.
Anything else? Matt or one of the other ones?
Just on the same page,
Mhm.
further down, where we have the lengthy discussion regarding the topography of the lot, didn't we ask for
Engineering report or something?
a report, not that he hopes to have his architect available, but I thought we asked for some kind of a report report or a?
I thought we asked for plans.
Yeah, we did.
Plans to show,
Topology map.
right.
But is that what they're coming back on the 5th with?
I
thought-
think so.
Sorry, that's,
The more I walk by there, I mean, there doesn't seem to be that much space.
well, I think what we wanted to see was the slope, and I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
right terms, but what is that gonna look like in the back of the building to prevent everything from,
And is there gonna be a retaining wall
Right,
on
yeah,
on
yes.
Ruggie side? That was a concern too,
Right.
that was
Yeah.
mentioned.
I think there are a lot of unanswered questions.
Okay, so,
They haven't done any landscape planning at all, actually. They didn't do any.
so if it's the board's pleasure, we can request that, make the change that Mr. Donat requested on the spelling, and review the minutes and better flesh out that paragraph with what we discussed. So I'd entertain a motion to
yeah,
revise the minutes of October 26, 2018 with respect to the word run, changing to ruin on the third paragraph on page 2, and to further flesh out the discussion regarding the topography and the board's request for additional site plans. Will somebody make that motion?
I move.
So moved? So moved?
exactly.
Some moved
That
is
move.
the phrase.
Okay, Mr. Jonas made the motion to refer the minutes of 10:26 back for further discussion in the topography section and to correct a spelling error. Is there a second?
Second.
Gail has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, 7-0. And then with respect to September 19th and November 7th, 2018, are there any comments or concerns about those minutes? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the minutes of 9/19/2018 and 11/7/2018 and place them on file.
So moved.
Second.
So Gail's made a motion, Jean has seconded it to accept the minutes of 9/19/18 and 11/7/18 and place them on file. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Yay. So, moving on to the next section on our agenda, briefings and reports by board members. I am thrilled to report that the Board of Selectmen approved Mr. Jones' appointment to the CPC last evening. So he will be so excited to join the CPC come our next meeting. We had, it's actually a pretty light year,
It really is.
considering there are 8 applications. We have reviewed 4 of them. We've started review on 4 of them. Our next meeting in December will have, or next week, we'll have 4 more. And then we'll have some follow-ups as well. But we're moving along at a speedy pace. What we had heard last week were 3 applications from Eric Beebe with the Recreation Department relative to some of his projects. One was White House Field, one was a potential bathroom at Sand Pond. The third one is escaping me. The lifeguard stands at all the beaches. They're looking to replace the lifeguard stands. They are no longer repairable and they need to be replaced. So those are the 3 from the Recreation Commission. The 4th is from Israeli Open Space and Recreation. It is proposing to try and put an extension onto the back end of the jetty at Red River Beach in order to protect the parking lot and to try and better see that the Red River better flushes out there. Right now, the town is doing a lot of, adding a lot of sand to try and keep that embankment stable. So there is an application from CPC that, to CPC that they are considering could either be open space or recreation as well. So those are the applications that we've started reviewing. We'll do the rest come next week. I don't really have anything to report on planning board. Don't know if anybody else has anything to report on. Nothing yet.
Well, just one
Yes?
thing, and I'm trying to think what the, it's an email group. Mass,
Mass preservation or mass?
you know, the one where you can ask the
Historic.
questions and the
Yes,
answers
yeah.
come back from all the different historic commissions. And we had a discussion briefly last meeting about possibility of changing some language on
Yes.
the bylaws. And that was a very hot topic, since a couple of towns, I guess, have done that, have
Great.
changed their language. So just if you have that, or if you're a member and you can get back on, go do so and take a look, and otherwise I can print out whatever.
If you have any of that, that would be,
The emails, right.
be happy to have you forward that along.
Good.
That'd be great if you wanted to forward them up to Elaine, because I'd love to read the email chain on that.
Yeah, the discussion was just that the bylaw was changed and approved. And the request has been for the language, and so I'm kind of waiting. I'll
Sure.
wait for that point.
Great.
to come.
Great, sounds good. And I did say we'll put that, kind of
Right.
that discussion on the meeting for December 5th.
Right.
So that we can start kind of talking zoning changes, and which is technically a zoning bylaw. Anything else? And then the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Doan and Gail.
We're all over that one.
I guess so. Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none. I hope everybody has a lovely Thanksgiving.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, everyone.